Today is a very special day. I'm going to be attending a truly memorable event. I'll be down in 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So, what do you say? I told you it would be memorable. How could a music lover like me afford to miss this? And you haven't heard anything yet. Follow me and keep your ears wide open. I'm taking you to the south of Madagascar, to antennae country, an arid wilderness where you can hear astonishing melodies, concertos for crickets and orchestra, and a veritable symphony for hexapods. Insects do not have vocal cords. They do, however, have another equally effective means of expression, the musical instrument. They started playing all types of musical instruments well before we did. In fact, insects could make up a complete orchestra. And like my antennae friends say, you can't have a good orchestra without percussion. Percussion is the sound produced by the striking together of two bodies. Many insects can produce percussion sounds. Click beetles, for example, produce a click every time they jump. They have an unusual joint under their thorax that can lock and then is suddenly released. As it jumps, a peg and a socket engage, producing a sharp click. The click beetle's click can be heard by the human ear, but it's not very loud. For percussion sounds to be powerful, they need a good resonance chamber. Here is a good example of insects using a natural structure to make sounds. For these hands, this leaf is not only a roof, but also an amplifier. When disturbed, the hands bang their abdomens against the other wall of their stiff nest to sound an alarm. The air pocket between the leaf and the nest wall increases the sound tenfold, so the hen can drum a distress signal. But ants are not the only insects who play percussion. Among the antennae, the most advanced form of percussion instrument is the drum. But I know an insect that has drumming in its blood. The cicada, of course. Look how sweet she is. A male? I know you're a male. Only males can sing. Be polite. Hey, what a character. There's nothing I can say to this male. Well, that's enough for now. The abdomen of the male cicada is specifically designed for sound production. It's a perfect drum, complete with a resonator and a sounding chamber. The two small stiff membranes you see under the first abdominal segment are like the skin of a drum. It is these powerful muscles, not hands, that beat this drum. Contracting the muscles periodically makes the membrane curve abruptly, causing a series of very rapid clicks. So there you have the resonator. Now for the sounding chamber. This is formed by the whole abdomen, which acts as a gigantic airbag that the cicada dilates or reduces to modify the quality and power of the sounds it emits. This sound system is very efficient since it allows this creature to be heard over half a mile away. Sometimes it even produces sounds as loud as 105 decibels, comparable to the noise made by a chainsaw. Cicada gatherings can be very impressive. Certain American species even manage to synchronize their larval stage so they all emerge at the same time. Then, towns, fields, and forests echo with a great symphony as they are invaded by thousands of cicadas that think of nothing but playing the drum and getting drunk on tree sap. Cicadas know how to live it up. When the endoskeleton have something to celebrate, drums are not enough. They also need a violinist. It's easy to find one. You just have to go where the zebus are. Zebus are a fact of life among the endoskeleton. And zebu herdsmen sometimes find the days long. Fortunately, a herdsman rarely goes out without his mandolin, or lokanga, a little makeshift three-stringed violin. They claim these instruments can chase away evil spirits. A violin is made with strings and a bow. The bow rubs on the strings, which begin to vibrate. There's nothing to it, at least in theory. Now, I will show you the smallest violin in the world. An exclusivity. Ha! Ha! The smallest violin in the world, the grasshopper. But as we will see, insects practice their violins in very different ways. To play the violin the way insects do, you don't need a Stradivarius. You do, however, need a string and a bow. For the katydids, these two components are mounted on the elytras, the two most rigid wings on the insect. Their string is this little orange crest found on top of the round membrane. The bow is located on the underside of the opposite elytra. It's a small row of ridges aligned like the teeth of a comb. When they rub their wings together, the katydids sing naturally. This is known among entomologists as elytral music. But they are not the only insects to have a violin. About 400 different species of beetles can also make sounds this way. When they want the whole neighborhood to hear them, some insects have developed highly ingenious amplifying techniques. Crickets hold their elytra up, which creates a small air pocket that acts as a sounding box. Only the males sing, and their repertoire is quite varied, including a serenade to attract females and a territorial song to keep the competition at bay. When a rival gets a little too close, the cricket quickly changes its tone, producing a terrible war cry, which is often followed by a fierce battle. Crickets are very aggressive. They have such a reputation for aggressive behavior that in some countries like China, they are raised for miniature boxing tournaments where the betting can get pretty high. Important matches are sometimes televised. Some crickets even become stars, prized for their singing talent as well as their physical strength, which often go together. Mole crickets are less aggressive, but they are no less territorial. To project their sound, they use another amplification technique, a burrow shaped like a megaphone. When the male chirps, it sits at the entrance with his head facing inwards. This natural loudspeaker is so efficient that in some species, the chirping can make as much noise as a lawnmower. Music is certainly one of the oldest means of expression used by humans, maybe even older than language. And yet, for all their ingenuity, humans themselves have not yet discovered how to produce music using their bodies alone. Look at this dancer, for example. If he were an insect and had wings instead of arms, he would be in possession of a unique wind instrument. An instrument that would be an instant success in any symphony orchestra. A buzzing instrument. The buzzing of insects is caused by the vibration of their wings. To be heard, these vibrations have to be very rapid. Bees, for instance, beat their wings more than 250 times per second. Now look at this little whistle. The android dances to its rhythm. It demonstrates the principle of the wind instrument. The sound of a wind instrument comes from the vibration of an air column in an almost closed cavity, pierced with narrow slits that allow notes to be produced. Well, six-legged arthropods also have this type of instrument. Hiding in this tree trunk is an outstanding trumpet player, a star of Malagasy entomology prized by collectors the world over.
Let me introduce you to the incredible, unbelievable, the amazing hissing cockroach.
You just have to pick up this fellow for him to blast out a few semi-quavers. The hissing cockroach plays the trumpet by contracting its abdomen. The air, under pressure, blown out of the respiratory organs, produces 90 decibel squeal. This cockroach's female friends are mad about his free jazz, but as we will see, it's for their ears only. You may find the songs of insects strident or monotonous. But to tell you the truth, they were not really designed for our ears.
These fast, high-pitched buzzing sounds are often beyond the range of our hearing. It's like if we sped up my voice. It's like if we sped up my voice.
You would hear nothing. You would hear nothing.
There's a simpler way to hear the songs of insects. We can record them and replay them at a slower speed. The melodies then acquire more body, and the subtleties of the song come true.
Here is a demonstration. Take this superb long horn that stridulates each time you touch it. It sounds like a locomotive, don't you think?
4 times slower, it already sounds different. Slowed down 20 times, what do you hear? A strange melancholic melody. With much more sophisticated recording instruments, we could open up a whole sound universe whose existence we never suspected. In fact, many insects produce sounds in ranges completely inaudible to us. Lanternflies, for example, produce a song that enables males and females to find one another. But their song is in the ultrasonic range, so there's no way we can enjoy the serenade. Many ants also sing. But in most cases, this sound is transmitted through the substrata and not through the air. That's why it escapes us. As these examples clearly prove,
we hear only a tiny fraction of all the insect songs. Just try to imagine what this forest would be like if we could suddenly hear all the inaudible sound. We would be able to hear this incredible symphony that has been part of the vibrations of our planet for 320 million years. A majestic opera come down to us through the ages to bring us a message from time immemorial. In a word, the song of the universe.